Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to day 6, I think. I think we are on day 6 today. And this is going to be amazing today. We need to have a look at whether the thing we've built actually works. So let me just get some stuff right here, because I'm a bit behind schedule today. And what has ended up happening is I've had to go out with my kids and do a few different things because it's holiday season, and now everything is off schedule, so I didn't manage to set things up right. And I just need to update the title. So it's day 6. And we need to update the title of the stream. We need to update the actual content of the thing. Okay, cool. So where we left off yesterday was that we were building out the thumbnail generator and getting that to work. So as I mentioned, one of our key things to do is we want to get the thumbnails for our YouTube channel. We're spending a lot of time making sure that we... Oh wait, that's the wrong one. That we're ready to launch our YouTube channel. So our strategy is to focus on... Speaking of focus, what the... My camera is completely out of focus. So I clearly have some settings I need to work on there. Let's see what happens now. So we've just started the thumbnail generator, and we are going to check out whether that's actually doing what it should do. Okay, and we have a first thumbnail generated. Let's just have a look at it. So I'm just bringing that one down here. So this is actually, it doesn't look too bad. So I think this is pretty good. Like, this is not a picture of me, this was generated, but it got the logo in there, it got the text, it's using the right brand color for those things. And I think we should be able to make this into something quite useful. So, with a little bit of work on the template, this is actually going to look really well. And we'll have a workflow that we can repeat, so... Yeah, hopefully sometime early next week we'll be able to have nice thumbnails for all of our channel. I think that's going to be super cool. And mind you, this is a completely custom workflow we have built out. So we're not using any existing services for doing this. This is all AI generated. So that means that the original milestone that we were about to approve here, we can now approve this. Cool. Then the bigger thing we had to do, or we will do, is looking at fast coach. So I just got a reminder today that we only have 14 days left to ship this project. So hopefully we are getting close to having something that's ready to run, because otherwise I'm starting to get stressed here. But before I do that, let's just listen to some tunes while I'm setting up some things I forgot to set up. Cool, so we can tick off the thumbnail generator. And with that, we're going to add an extra step that we want to do. So we want to have, we've also done the social media chart, and then we want to have a agent interface to manage events. So specifically, we want to be able to set up the next events using Claude Code, working out the topic we're going to work on, and then with that, we will want it to generate the thumbnails, right? So we have the thumbnail generator. We want to set it up so that it's actually using that. And yep, I think that's pretty much it. So we're going to just have that. Photos with cool. And with that, that would mean that we have nice thumbnails for everything we do, so we can look as professional as all the other YouTubers out there. Excellent. Now we are going to get to the point of testing fastcoach.io. The fastcoach.io is basically, if you recall, I built this app some time ago. I go here, and I just type in, oh wait, to focus here. fastcoach.io. So I built this app that allows you to clone a YouTuber, and we focused that one initially on consumers. However, I'm going to pivot that and we're going to turn it into a SaaS. And so what we have tried to do in this live stream so far is basically one-shot this into a SaaS. We've given it the app saying, okay, the app is working, here it is. Now take that and turn it into a SaaS instead. And that is basically what we're going to try out now, the first version of this, to see if it works at all. Let's get back here to our Codex or ChatGPT terminal as it's called now. And then we do /rush fastcoach.io and dev, and this should start everything up. Now the question is whether it's going to work out of the box. So it's been working for 4 days straight with spent a lot of tokens with only very little input, and we have done 0 checking. So this might be great, it might be a complete disaster. We have no clue until we actually try it. So the full stack this is built in is Rust, and Rust. So we have Rust backend, Rust frontend, and Rust in between. So for the API layer as well. The tool chain that's at work, or the tool that we're using for launching or building the thing here, is also built in Rust, and we call that one Rush. Basically what it does is it's kind of like Docker Compose, but with a whole bunch of extra things where it manages the secrets. It makes sure to set up an ingress so we're as close to a Kubernetes setup as possible. And what you can see it does now is it's building the front end, and in just a bit it will start building the back end. So this takes a little bit of time. And in the meantime, did we get started? We need to get the thumbnail started with the next item. Do the next work for this. So if you remember, we made a very, very thorough plan for what the thumbnail generator should be doing. And we now have the first version working, and it just needs to continue with that. So let's get back here and see. Oh, you see I need to fix some stuff here, because this doesn't look great. Okay, that will have to go on the backlog. Rush doesn't refresh the screen quite nicely. Yeah, okay. See, the question is, do we need to restart it, or can we just wait? Let's just wait and see what's happening. Actually, let's stop it first and then do a full build. That should speed things up a bit. So this is one of the, it's both the upside and the downside to using Rust for everything. So the downside is we need to build everything. The upside to that is that everything is checked at compile time, which means that we are pretty sure that we have covered a lot of fundamental mistakes. And so the AI has continuously gotten feedback into what should be improved into the code base. And the way we've done this is that inside of this repo, we are having what we call workstream policies. So the policies are basically making sure that not only does the code compile, but it also has a whole bunch of standards that it adheres to. And this is super important for making sure that we get something that usually works out of the box. The question is, how thorough has it been in doing the things that it's supposed to do? And we have made it such that there is a lot of artifacts that should make sure that it's done the right thing. Let's just see if we go to this one and we do reveal in Finder. Let's bring that up over here and just show you what we've done. So a lot of this is, oh wait, why can't I drag that window? Go. Oh, it went down here. Okay, so you'll see here that as part of setting up all of this, we have this whole directory with specs, with ADRs and all of this. And so inside, we're making specs for each of the different things that we need to do. And together with that, we have ADRs and we have user stories, and we have a whole bunch of different things where you can take a subset of these artifacts and put together a context that will help you generate the right kind of context for the specific task that you're working on. And hopefully with all of this and being this thoroughly done, it should have done a decent job. And so you also see here that the agent is self-reviewing, and so we have here some reviews where it's supposed to review all of the user flows. And let's see, what does it actually say here? Yeah, so we're using the red team, blue team technique that I've talked about earlier, where we basically are just identifying potential gaps in the code and then addressing them before I get the code back. So this means that once I actually see the code, the agent should have done quite a lot of work already on making sure that it's solid. Now let's get back here and have a look at, we're still building. So this will take a bit of time, but maybe quite some time, because it seems that it's still slightly behind. But yeah, while it keeps on building, let me take you through some more of the artifacts, right? So it's doing these red team, blue team reviews, and it does that on a very regular basis. So the idea here is that we're doing small chunks of work. We're doing reviews. So basically, you're implementing a full development cycle like what you would have for a normal development team, where you take one feature, you implement that feature, you get it reviewed, you answer the review question and address the comments, and then finally you're done and you move on to the next item. Right? And it's exactly the same we're trying to implement here with the agents. And if we move into the tasks, you'll see we have had quite a lot of different tasks here. So 64 tasks we've had to implement. And likewise, we have defined what does the user flows actually look like. So what does it look like when you want to train a coach? What does it look like when you want to upload a coach, and so on and so forth? What does the life cycle look like? And also things like web widget, Discord integration. So all of this ought to be known by the agent as it implements it. And really, I think we could not have done any more on making sure that there is a very thorough list of what had to be done. And let's see. Interesting. So there's 60 something acceptance criteria missing. I'm curious how it got to that. Maybe they went out of scope, but I really would have thought that they should not be deleted. Okay, that's something to look into. Maybe, and also one of these ones. Okay, no, that's okay. That's just because it's kilobytes and not bytes. Yeah. So there might be some stuff to look at in the retrospective. I don't know if they are in here, but here we have the index of what does our spec actually look like. And also you'll see here we have a folder called assumptions, where we can look at what assumptions was actually taken as the agent made all of these things. And this also means that as we move through this code and we get back to the point of, I don't understand why this happened, we should have a very, very thorough understanding of whether the agent actually did what we asked it to do or not, because we know what assumptions it was operating on. We know exactly what specs it was supposed to have done. We know that it's been reviewed. We know a whole bunch of things. And so that's the point of keeping these work traces. All right, let's go back and see where we are in terms of, we are still building. So This will take a bit of time, I suppose. Let's listen to a bit of music while we wait for that. Okay, and we have another leftover from yesterday. So together with building out the SaaS, we are also trying to promote Compound Coders, which is a place where you can learn how to become really good at working with AI. And so in order to promote that, what we're really trying to do is build out a normal funnel. And yesterday we started writing out this guide for measuring how your workflow is performing. And so this is based on some of the customer interviews we've had and just working out what could be a high impact guide that people actually want to have. And we started writing that out yesterday. We did the first iteration, figured out that there was some AI slop in it, added a red team, blue team review. And so we need to go through this one today. Then we need to set it up with our lead funnel or our lead page, which we set up yesterday. So if you recall, I think we did start trolls.im, where we updated the copy. And now the next thing we need to do is basically set this up such that when you are entering your email, you will receive the corresponding guide. And so what that will do is it will put you onto a lead magnet, and we discussed this yesterday as well, but I'll just remind you here that we had this whole thing where you sign up. So we have our Google ads and our XP campaign that are running that will guide people to the free guides. Right now, they're just putting you directly to call.trolls.im, which I think is a tad too aggressive. And really what we want is we want them to go to a free guide. And then once they get the free guide, the next step in the funnel will be that either they get 10 free guides or they purchase 85 premium guides. And then after that we have the self-paced training, which is 997. And then after that, or in between that, actually we need to have another arrow here. We have the high ticket offer, which is up here, which is calling me, and where we have the $5,000 and $15,000 and $30,000 tickets. And that's roughly what our funnel is going to look like and what we are building out. And so to this end, we got the AI to write the guide that we were looking at yesterday. And we need to review that one as well, just to see where it's at. This one is still compiling, so I suggest that we just slowly get that read through and see if there's anything more we need to update on it. And so I think at least the first bit here seems really good. I like the framing where it says, well, okay, you can do a demo where you basically set up something and then you search for evidence for that it help, or you can define a target, which is what we are trying to do, a evidence first hypothesis of what we really want to do. And, or actually, maybe this proposes both workflows, but I think either of those workflows could be quite helpful. And if you recall yesterday, there was a lot of, it's not that, so AI has this typical phrasing where it will say, it's not something, it's why. And yeah, it's something else. And this was a phrase, it happens all the time. We seem to have gotten rid of that because it's not in the beginning sections as it were yesterday. So I'm quite happy with that. So let's go through the rest of this and just get it ready to ship. I like the framing here where it basically says we're going to do a bounded problem in the trial for this, and you need to make sure that it's reversible if we don't succeed. So don't make this your life or death scenario to get to depend on this AI workflow, but rather try to do incremental improvements and then give a basically telling what does a strong candidate look like, what does a weak candidate look like. I think this is all good and it's actually valuable. And then we get to define the 4 numbers. Outcome, so what is a useful outcome? And I think this is actually possibly the only thing that really matters. Well, okay, it's not the only thing that matters. Quality obviously also matters, economics matters, and the risk matters. So I think that's okay-ish. I think the color here, we might want to adjust the brand color eventually to something that doesn't burn your eyes out. After all, clients who can't see, or maybe they will be slightly less concerned about AI slop in the designs, so there's that. But even so, I think this color is a little bit aggressive. Right, and so the accepted outcomes. Compare effort spent against work that passes the quality rule. And so one thing we discussed yesterday was to actually try this guide specifically on writing guides, right? So writing a guide is for me a quite tedious job, and I've gotten to the point where I'm automating it. And so the way that I'm automating it is I have all this content that I'm using for the training that I'm giving, and then based on that content, we are researching new topics that's well aligned with those topics. And then we're using that to generate a guide. So this was completely auto-generated from that content and research, together with our profiles inside of. So we have personas for who are we trying to target with this. And using that, we managed to do this specific guide, right? And we had to do one revision yesterday. But all in all, I think we are on 20 minutes of work for building out this guide. Now, in the good old days, you would have to do a lot of research yourself, and you would need to write a lot of stuff yourself and figuring out how to structure it and all of that. And actually the structure here comes out pretty good. I think the guide is nice and concise. It's explaining the core principles. It's covering things like what is the smallest fair comparison to do and why it matters to do these things. And then it comes with a genuine example of what this looks like. And so I think this is actually a really good guide for what does the standard look for testing whether your AI workflow is providing any meaningful economic value to your business. And save for the red color that's a bit aggressive, I do think this is quite nice. And what do we have here? So copy bolt, fill out. And then it has a worksheet we can fill out. This we can basically just copy somewhere. Extend measurement as the workflow grows. So here we are. I think the purple is a lot nicer than the red one. Yeah, I think that's also not too bad. Nice. It's even changed my profile picture to the one we decided. I think there are some minor issues around the profile image, but I don't think we are going to address those ones right away. This actually looks pretty good. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this. So one thing we do need to get it to do is we wanted to the CTA in the lead guide. So right now the CTA is make a call. I actually think we're going to make another CTA before that one, because I think we'll want to gently get people to lean into the training we're giving them. So I think the CTA on this lead guide should be go to guides.compoundcoder.com and get 10 other guides. Or maybe not. Maybe it should be book a free call. I'm split on this. I don't know. This is very hard to know. Okay, so let's see. That I'll have to have a think about that before we make a decision. So while we think about that, let's head back to our SaaS and see how that's turning out. And then let's try to run it. Okay, and our front end is starting. We're now building the back end. And since we've built everything outside of Rush, it should go relatively quickly now because it does have cache artifacts. So one of the things that we're doing in the way we've set everything up is we're using Bazel for making sure that everything is running nice and smoothly. And with that, oh nice, I see we have a bunch of improvements here. Cool. So with that, because we're using Basel, we're having a shared directory between all our work streams, which is having shared cache, which means that when I compile for one work tree, all the items that are in that are used for that work tree are being reused for other work trees as well if there is a cache hit, which is super nice. Okay, let's see what happens if we sign in. I'm quite curious about the experience here. So let's see. It seems that we have a problem with Rush. It freezes once we have just signed in. I wonder if no, I don't think I have set up secrets for actually sending out emails. That's a bit of a problem because that means that we can't sign in. Let's just see if we can get it to fix this. And is there an annotate for this thing? I don't think so. Okay. Okay, and so while we're fixing that, we're going to start another program that we have, which is Rush Vault, that will allow me to inspect the secrets for this particular stack. And with that, we should be able to Rush Vault. With that, we should be able to just check if we have set up the email secrets correctly. Okay, at least the secret should be updated now. Next thing we want to do is probably just check the public variables as well. So if we do ls apps, and so this is a web app, and inside of the web app we have fastcoach.io, and we probably want to look at the base variables maybe. Let's see what we have there. Is the email correct? Oh, really? So we have OAuth with... Oh, interesting. It's added a lot of stuff here that I didn't know about. And it's actually added all the right things. That's pretty cool. Okay, from email, we need to update that one because I haven't set Fastcoach up to work with our email provider. That is something we definitely need to fix. Okay, this will take a little bit of time, but we are going to fix this. So let's just take a... Let's just open this up with Finder. Actually, let's open it with set. And now set is complaining about unrecognized. Okay, this is, yeah, a little bit useless, but let's bring it down here. Somehow, why am I not allowed to see? Okay, something is set up weirdly here. Why is this one on the left? Interesting. Right. So the way we've set this up is we have this spec.secrets, which basically is a map to all of our secrets. And so it doesn't keep the secrets directly. So that's all managed by what we call Rush Vault, which is stored completely outside of the repository and outside of the reach of the agent. This makes that the whole system is quite, easy and secure to work with. There is a really strong boundary between what the agent can and cannot see. It can define what secrets we need, but it cannot actually read them or in any other way change them. And let me just pick an email that I know we are using. So we are definitely using compound coder, so let's just go with that one. Okay, I think that ought to do it, unless it has specifically overwritten these ones. It hasn't. Let's get back to our terminal and check that it actually works. Oh wait, wrong command.
You have now reached your destination.
Okay, and we see here it has sent the one-time code, but somehow I did not receive it. And there's still the UI or TUI issue around Rush, which makes so we can't actually see the code here. We need to do some work on that. Okay, I think what we will do is we will leave this for now and let the agent finish what it's doing, then move back to working on our funnel and say, okay, this is actually looking great. Let's close the sub agent panel and close this panel. And then say, this looks great. Could you want to upload the file to make it such that this is the this is the guide you get. Actually, we want to do one thing. No, we're going to keep it with just call, because we want to get people on the call after they got the guide. If they are keen on learning more, then they will get on the call. Make it such that you get make it such that it's the guide. Okay, right. Make it such that the guide is sent out when sign up on start.trolls.im. Cool. Okay, let's check this out and see what happens. So it should now use the MCP server to update our lead pages, upload this guide, and make sure that you actually get this sent out. And let's have a look what this looks like. Cool. I think while we're waiting for all of this to finish, we need to figure out a way to make this slightly more interesting. And so I'm wondering if we could make a slightly more gamified AI interaction. So on a separate computer, I'm actually working on a new concept for working with agents that's based on tasks, and where we will have a canvas for building out different things. But I'm wondering if we could come up with a gaming kind of aspect for coding that would make it more fun. So let's try to brainstorm this with Codex and see what it says. So I think if we could come up with something that had more of a game feel to it, it would be a lot more fun to do live streams with it, because you'd have something that just looks a little bit more interesting and possibly with some more graphics around it. The real question is whether Codex can come up with some ideas that are actually worth pursuing, or whether we will have to come up with something ourselves. If you have any ideas, feel free to drop it in the chat. I would love to hear what you think could be great concepts for how to interact with agents. So basically, one of the concepts that I'm working on right now is more of a technical one, where instead of having these sessions, you're working with tasks, and then you're using observational memory to make sure that the tasks are nicely summarized and all of that, and you have a working pool and all of the traditional ways of dealing with these kind of systems. But that is an implementational detail of how the agent is working under the hood. What we then really want is a nice interface that makes it fun to do the work. So we're already doing a ton of really good work here. We've written out the guide, we're updating the lead pages, we are building out the SaaS, and all of that is great, but it's super boring to be waiting on. Oh wait, somebody wrote, so each task has experience points. Each task that is done, you gain levels. Yeah, that's actually a great idea. Let's just try to add that into the chat. So, oh bloody hell, I am incapable of selecting this text. Let's see. Let's just see, could we add... we do something around... Thanks a lot for that. That's actually a great idea to explore. So I think maybe a concept could be something around the idea of so doing something along these lines of getting experience points, but also having some targets that you need to hit. And if we could somehow align those two, I think that could be really good fun. And then also it would be great with some good graphics on top of it, because again, just text is very easily becoming a bit boring. Let's see what it writes here. Accumulated. Choose a task. Agent works. Verify the outcome. Complete and. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe this would work. Fix authentication. I feel like. Have a look to this one, really basic habit tracker. All right, I'm waiting for it. I'm very curious to see what that is. Also, if you have some ideas on how we could add some cool graphics or something that's just more interesting than text. I think one of the problems is that you start a task and a lot of times it's just standing and waiting for forever, right? So right now we are building out this SaaS, and it's been working for 4 days. It's not all that interesting to look at an agent just standing and spinning, even if I explain all the concepts around how we're doing things, which is interesting in itself. I think what we really want is something where while you wait for things, you feel like you're constantly active and constantly doing things. So wait, I don't see the habit tracker. Did you post it in the chat? Okay, while we wait for that, let me just gamified. Close subset habit tracker and see what habit trackers coding agents and what other people have done. It seems that you're not being allowed to drop the link in the chat, or I don't know what's going on. I don't see a link. I only see let me try again, but no link. Oh, okay. Do you have a name? Then I can just Google it and find it. Name of the habit tracker, that is. That. In the meantime, let's see what the chat comes up with here. There's quite a few things. Ah, RPG habit tracker. Let's try that. Okay, thanks a lot. So this one. Oh, that looks very nice. It actually looks... This looks a bit similar to... so there is somebody in the Ship and Die community doing a running app, which is also gamified kind of the same way. I love the graphics here. It has a nice feel to it. And you say there should be a web version of this? Let me check. Happy cat. I mean, who doesn't like cats? Nice. Wait, broad, slim, yeah. To be fair, I'm probably more like this color. Looking like a fried pig on a bad day, at least. Yeah. Maybe I'm about to get gray, who knows. I think we're definitely going for a Mega Man Blue here, for sure. I want to work on... Well, let's just do... I want to do work, exercise, and self-care. I don't want to do chores. Take a short break. Yeah, that does have a nice look to it, and I can see how we could do maybe something similar with the agents. At least the cards are nice and visual. But even more, I love the graphics. Like, this just takes me way back to the old 90s games. Get started. Oh, nice, you can even create a party. Let's see, let's look for party. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like we've gotten a lot of this pixelated graphics back, and I think it's great. It's so nostalgic. Let's see. Okay, that took too long. Actually, that makes me think of another thing that could be, maybe we could combine it with some digital worlds. I really love, oh wait, what? So what I'm thinking is, if you have something similar while you are generating your to-do list, you can track it. Each task gives you XP points and coins. Then you can buy things for your avatar. Yeah, that's actually a fun idea. Also, I don't know if you know these kind of places, but one thing I was thinking as well would be to actually go a completely different route, just to try something new. So there's this thing called, I think it's called Work Adventure or something like that. Just try to find it. Which has, again, kind of the same pixelated feel to it. It's less of the tracker idea, but the idea would be that you could combine this with, how do I even look into this thing? Okay. Anyway, so these are basically small worlds, and maybe you could do something where you combine this with some of the ideas of getting experience points and being able to buy stuff for your avatar, and even make it a universe where you are working together, but where everybody brings their own agents. I think that could be kind of fun. I think I need to have a think about that. Let's just try to pop these two into the chat and see what it says. So there we go. Okay, let's just check what it's writing out here. Not useful spectrum, existing range, very light progress, full RPG. Okay, so this is also moving towards RPG systems, which is kind of cool. Coding exists, but they're still very early. That's a good sign. That means that we would be early on doing this. And most implementations reward activity more reliably than they reward software quality. So one thing we could do would be focus on quality, because this is anyway one of the core fundamental things that we're trying to do here. So basically we are operating with the idea of building Sigma 6 software, which all it means is we want to have super high quality and super low error margins. Which also makes, unfortunately, the things are going a bit slow. Oh, I see, it actually found this by itself. Nice. This is RPG quests. Yeah. So I think... I think an idea starts to form in my head. Wait, what? GitHub, why is that one there? Right, okay, because you can get badges and you can get points, and you have this green thing that's showing you things. Level up over time. Sports remote. XP classes levels. Compete work. I want to see what this is. Wow. I am going to find a course on how to select text on the screen because I'm clearly not very good at that. Oh. That sounded a lot more exciting than this looks to be. Oh, it might be this one. See, what does this look like? That still looks kind of boring. Okay, so while that's done, let's see what it says here. So it has now updated, it's uploaded our guide to our lead funnel. It's updated to describe this guide. Let's see if it actually describes it. Okay, that looks good. Let's just try this out and do. Okay, and we will go to and we got our guide here. Your guide is ready. Read the guide. Let's see, does it download? Oh yes, it works. So we have the first part of the funnel up running, and everything was done by the agent. It wrote the guide, it updated the website, it created the email, it did everything. Okay, so let's just put you make an MR and merge this back into develop. This is great. Let's get back to brainstorming our. Oh wait, there's another thing that's ready here. Let's see. This should be working now, so we're just going to run just build. And then while it's building, we will get back to our gamified thing. So we have a library. Let's see. This is a very long text. So, persistent multiplayer coding guild where humans and coding inhabitants share a 2D world to complete quests, gain XP, and physically develop over workspace time. Right, so basically what we could do if we made this a multiplayer game with a specific that allows you to interact with any agent harness, but you're basically using a canvas where you go into the canvas and you interact with the different things, but you have multiple people who are interacting there and they gain XP as they complete tasks. Then you'd be able to have this kind of social element to coding with agents. I think that could maybe work. It could at least be a lot of fun to develop. And you'd be able to incorporate all of these things with being able to have the experience point, having to-dos, having quests that you go on, like build your first SaaS in 24 hours, build your first whatever, learn a specific workflow, which might make it a lot more fun to learn these things and a lot more exciting to try to do some of the things that you want to do. So a lot of the people that I interact with are either solo founders who are trying to build out a specific thing, and so just having this shared workspace where you can get into, and basically being there will allow you to show off what you're doing and interact with other people who are like-minded. I think that in itself could be very valuable. Plus, you get a lot of street credibility for just getting experience points. That might be worthwhile. The question is how much work is it to implement this? And what does it say? How much does the idea that the agent have diverged from what I've made out of it? The inter-virtual, blah, blah, blah. Human collaborators. The coding agent, companions, quest board, training tasks. Room representing parts of... Man, you can even make it such that there are skills in this whole thing, right? So as you progress through the game, you could get new skills for your agent. That could also be a fun concept to play around with. Like getting marketing skills, getting the skills for various bits. So it could basically be a game to take you from not knowing anything about coding to being great at coding. With agents, that is, of course. Right, and you could do things like tying in GitHub or GitLab for... Let me see. And you can couple this with courses that you'll give. Yeah, that's actually great. I love that, right? So one of the key things that I'm building out is I'm building out this training program that's called Compound Coders, and one of the things that I'm really trying to do is to help people become a lot better at using agents and delivering good work. So being able to give courses and have people try basically learn these skills, I think is a super valuable idea that would fit very well into this. It does seem to be a little bit large scope at the moment, so I need to think about how we could make this MVP version of this. But I really like the idea, and I like where it's headed. And I think that the first version of it must be super easy to build, right? Because you don't, like, we're not going to go for scale on the first day. At most, we will have 10 people in a room, so you can do that with a simple database. You have that, you just have a login function, and then a position, and then some map. And probably, I mean, most likely, if you do the cheapest possible version of this, you can get Thought Codex to one-shot the map thing in like 20 minutes, maybe. That should not be too hard. And then we could try these things out during the live stream and just make that the focus point. Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's the whole thing, right? Having things where you learn this in a gamified way, but you're not just learning alone, you're learning together with others. And it should kind of help you establish the direction you want to go in. So if your if your aim is to build out a SaaS in 24 hours or whatever it might be, if you have a curriculum that's specific for that, so then that's the quest that you're on to build out that SaaS, and you'd get the steps to do the first things you want to do, right? And then when you're finished that, you could have another quest on how do you use AI for marketing? How do you get started with setting up a agent system that does cold outreach, which I'm doing right now for the Compound Coders. So you could have these quests that helps you solve specific problems in whatever is relevant to you. And then obviously we could make a place where you could request a learning path. I think this is a super interesting idea, to be honest. Triggering contextual conversation around. Wait, I am lost here. What does it say here now? It says task becomes a quest. User approaches. So, Victor, produce the issue, implement focus fix, add test regression. Yeah, okay. Let's just... I'm just going to copy your ideas in here and see what the chat... Oh, I am doing this thing again where I get the... And so basically, I guess this could in theory replace the Discord community that we're building out. So if we would do this, and then I'm just going to add And so really the idea here is that quest becomes the high level objective that you're trying to do, right? So the high level outcome of what you're trying to do would be the core thing. So let's just try to do this and say, so the outcome you are after is the quest, and the game might have some recipes for what the quest looks like. Have recipes for what quests look like. Yeah, I think I was thinking of that, thinking of Jira and thinking of Jet. Right, we could incorporate things such as tickets that are being closed as a way to gain experience points, as well as commits into your repository, because these are indicators that you're actually doing something either with an agent or without. And obviously, if you at this point, if you're manually building out things with your repository, you'll be way behind somebody who is not. So let's. And not grow as fast. So the way you would grow your experience inside of the game would be also taking these into account. So okay. Let's see.
This is madness.
Quest task, milestone. What happened to my scrolling? Oh yeah, SOC 2 preparation. That's an interesting quest. That's actually a pretty tough one. Migrate to TypeScript. I'd probably call that one migrate to Rust. But yeah. Depends on where you're starting from though. Let's see. Establish repository policies. Protect the main branch. Yeah, maybe these are still relevant. I think there is a lot of people out there who actually don't know how to code, who are now coding, and probably would need guidance on how to do this. So that might also be a thing. But I want something for people who are hardcore geeks and actually love programming even before AI agents, because otherwise I can't use this product myself, and I really want to use it. So I think probably the first part of this would be to just build out a small platform where we could walk around, and that doesn't need to be all that difficult, does it? Right. So we could either use a database or we could use Redis. The database for authentication, Redis for tracking position of the user, and I'd say let's just do this. So oh wait, there's one more. Coolest thing for the community would be to allow them to build subjects or propose what they want to learn. Yes, yeah, exactly. I completely agree with you. So you do need to have the possibility of getting new subjects into the system. And at least, so in the beginning, it will probably have to be curated and managed by me. But in the long run, if you could do something that would actually grow, where people start creating their own spaces within the world, and they can create their own subjects and their own quests and all of these things, I think it could be a whole lot of fun. And also, you could start building sub communities within the larger community. I think that would definitely be worthwhile. Also, I think this ties really nicely into what I'm doing. So I don't know if you've seen any of my previous streams, but I'm working on this project called fastcodes.io. And this is basically a way to virtualize yourself. So you can inhabit the world with clones of yourself, such that people can go and talk to you. And let me just bring that up here if I can find a terminal somewhere. Okay, I can't find that. Let me just jump right over here and do. So this will just take a minute to bring up. But basically, the idea here is people who are doing YouTube videos and doing course material, in general, they have a lot of knowledge. It's super hard to find that knowledge. So I built this small app for myself that downloads all of their knowledge. And, oh, wait a second. And using that knowledge that it has downloaded, it indexes it and makes it so that you can chat in quotes with that person. So bring this right up. Cool. And so as a demo of this thing, what I've done is I have made a bunch of clones of different people on YouTube. And so you'll see here, I have a clone of myself, but I've also cloned Mark Liu. And so what you could do is you could create a system where these clones actually can also inhabit the world in the long run. So I think there's a lot of good stuff to work with here and a lot of things that are well aligned with what I'm already doing. So so basically you'd be able to walk up to me and say, okay, could you, or to an AI clone of me and say, could you help me with learning AI? And what this ought to do is it will go through my learning material and it will try to understand how it can give an answer on this. And then based on that, it will create the answer with links to videos. And so this will help create even more content within the world that would be interesting. And so you see here, it basically has all of these phrases that's based on YouTube videos that I've already done. So I think there is a lot of good stuff here. I think there's definitely something to work with. And now all we need to figure out is I think we need to limit the scope for starters. And I think the very first thing is just to create a world you can log into, and with that world, so you should be able to log into the world. We should be able to have a map of the world, and you should be able to move around in that world. And then we will work out the rest of the details as we go along. Because then the question comes, how do you tie your AI agents into this, right? So you could have your AI agent that is doing the work for you. And together with that, you have the people who you can go and ask for help, whether they are real people or actually AI avatars in this world. That could be pretty good fun. So actually, one thing I'm wondering is, will people feel anxious connecting their coding agents directly to a online community? Right. I would maybe feel slightly anxious about that. So maybe that might be some explaining to do on the separation between the actual online aspect and the AI agent. I would at least worry about the potential damage it could do if somebody else, just imagine. So you're on this in this online community, you have your agents presented, you have your GitHub repository connected, and you can interact with your agent, and only you can do that. And basically, based on that, you can go and give a task and you earn XP. But I would be worried about whether other people could interact with it in any kind of way through a bug in the system or whatever. Right? I wonder if that is something that would make people not do this, or whether they completely would trust this anyway. I think we'll just have to try to build something and see what happens. We need a system for maps for starters. So you have many people playing online games, yeah. There are risks when you go online, but you can have a solution where you actually do the work locally and then update. Yes, I agree that there are definitely ways around this, and definitely ways around it, and MCP is definitely one thing to consider, but even MCPs would constitute a security breach potentially if you can. It depends a bit on what you can do through that one. If you can instruct the agent in any kind of way, then it's a security breach. But then on the other hand, if you do the other way around, it might not work. I just think all I'm saying is I think we just need to give a bit of thought to how exactly is the dynamic going to work here. What I have in mind was that you would have something that connects it, whether that's an MCP or a local program that just connects to the server and shows that your agent is actually online working. And the main thing I would worry about as a user is, what is the implication of this, right? So does this mean that somebody can get access to my computer? But maybe people are not too worried about that, and maybe it's just a matter of putting a button saying remove online access altogether and just cut off. That will probably be the first thing. But I think let's start out by keeping this simple and just implementing a very simple virtual world that we can log into, and then figure out how we'll connect the agent to that afterwards. Because I think all in all, this has turned into a quite big vision, but I really like the direction it's taken, and it's been some good input. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. Then the remaining parts do in subsequent work. You do first work. And then we're just going to keep this thread open and then continuously make incremental improvements. Oh, and now it does that. Okay, yeah, well, that's fine, I guess. Yeah, exactly. Let's keep it simple. And one thing I'll keep in head is you can allow public world, but allow them to having their own space too. Yeah, I think own space too is a great idea, and similar to how games allow you to build your own houses. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we'll build out the public space first, such that those people who join in for the live sessions can be part of just testing it out and breaking things and coming up with ideas on how we're going to take this further. So I think that's exactly the kind of interactive aspect I was hoping to get out of this. And then probably we will do this incrementally with small increments, just making the virtual world first, and the next small step would probably just be to connect GitHub and make that a proxy for some level of experience points as we build out the remaining parts of the system. Holy crap, I thought this was going to be simple, but it has covered quite a lot. Actually, what are we going to call this? I need a name for it. Okay. Of my favorite thing. No, let's. Yeah. Okay. We'll just ask it to come up with a working name for it. And I think so. I think that's it for now. Let's kick this work off, get a first version up running, and then hopefully by the time we return Monday or something like that, this should be kind of ready for us to test the first version, at least locally. Probably it will be ready a lot before then, but a lot sooner than then, but just to let it have some time. Let's just have a look at whether it finished the things it was supposed to finish here while we Oh, funny. It's you, Eris. I didn't notice that until now. How are you doing? Nice. There's still some things that are not quite vibing here the way that they should. But at least this one is now showing up correctly. The one time... Okay, so we need to debug this. Figure out why exactly the one-time passwords are not working. Because I don't receive an email, which is slightly irritating. Oh, I think I know why. I think the issue... Oh, and I said too early that it works, because now it's broke again. Okay. I think I know what the issue is here. I think the issue is that we might not have set up the right provider. Let's just jump back into set. Also, did we remember to save this one? I think that's exactly the issue. Ace. Okay. So I believe that there is this issue around how it has implemented the server here. We need to get it to just do a self-audit on that. Would you carefully... Yes, I think actually what we probably will do would be to first create the world, and then once we have the world... What the hell? I attached something. I'm sure I did attach something, so why does it say I didn't attach something? Let's just try again. So probably the way we want to do this is build the world, and then the world is running inside of your harness rather than you interacting with your harness directly from the web app. That's probably the way to go around it. I think, yeah, that will probably be the real way to do this. And so we've now kicked off the create product workflow, which basically all it does now is it will go through all of the different, so go through the PRD we handed it, and then work out all the different user flows, all the different assumptions that it's having, and then it will come back to us and say, okay, these are the user flows, these are the assumptions, these are the things that I think that I should be implementing, and we'll create a whole bunch of artifacts for this, such that we can check whether it's actually doing what it's supposed to do. And let's see, and we still have 70% left of our weekly usage, which probably will last until tomorrow. And unfortunately, I'm out of resets, so I might have to buy a Claude subscription as well to do this. But I think this is going to be really cool. This would be really good fun to have inside of your harness. Okay, so the reason why the mail doesn't come through is actually because of the testing system we've put in place. So what Rush is doing is it's injecting a local version of MailHug, which allows us to basically inspect emails and do full testing of the workflow. So I don't think this is wrong per se, but what I really would want to have then is I would like to have it such that we see that in Rush. So I think this is a task we're going to give the agent to implement by Monday. And that will pretty much be it. So I think that's the issue here. There's no... So for the web platform we just discussed, we're not done with the PRD and what happened there? And we're done reading the PRD, and so we've been executing our typical counsel on trying to figure out what are we missing here. We approve the four-bound fallback since completed review, adapt a provisional working name and assumption approval. So we will have to look here what it has come up with. Fail steps. Oh, we need to run this. This is a very annoying feature or bug in Codex where please rerun. I give explicit permission to run sub agent. So without this explicit permission, Codex doesn't want to run sub agents, and it's catching me out every time. And we're going to implement a lightweight terminal. I need to fix my camera, I see. We're going to implement a lightweight terminal mailbox that will allow us to be able to inspect the mail sent. This cannot be. I'm completely sure I have set this to have a limit of 32 subsequent agents. Okay. All right. We are coming to the end of this live session, and I hope you enjoyed it. The next live event will be on Monday, and you'll be able to see exactly when on trolls.im/live. I suspect it will be just around the same time, but I really enjoyed seeing you, in particular you, Aris. So do join again Monday, and let's see if we can get this idea off the ground, because I think it could be really good fun to make a more gamified harness. Until then, have a nice weekend and see you next week.